let's get started by talking about meditation 101. What is meditation? So when we think about that word, almost all the time, our mind goes to kind of relaxing, zoning out. Maybe we have a picture of somebody with their eyes closed and their legs crossed, like kind of leaving the world behind or something. So relaxation is a huge connotation to meditation for good reason. Wow, a lot of uns in that sentence. But it's not the only thing that we can do with meditation, right? Because meditation isn't just about relaxing. It is a technique to train your mind to become familiar with something, right? That can be anything. That can be relaxation. That can be kindness. That can be compassion. That can be whatever you want it to be, right? That's why meditation is kind of limitless in what you can do with it. Right? So it is a technique of training your mind, which is weird. We don't really think about training our mind, especially like when we think about, becoming familiarizing our mind with something. It sounds a little kind of maybe out there, but we can think about something that something that we are really familiar with at a physical level. Right. So let's take tying your shoe, right? You're very good at it, I would imagine. You've been doing it for a very long time. And as a result of you having countless hours practicing tying your shoe, you're quite amazing at it. You can tie your shoe with your eyes closed. But it wasn't always the case. When you were a kid, tying your shoe was difficult, right? You think about that, right? Hey, little kid, take these 2 strings and craft this amazing bow that keeps your shoe on. You're like, this is nuts. So what happened in between tying your shoe being very difficult and it coming pretty naturally to you? Just practice, right? Familiarity. You today are so familiar with tying your shoe, both your the physical aspects of it, but also the mental kind of aspects of tying your shoe. Everything about it is just so second nature to you that it starts to flow really naturally. You don't have to think that much about it. You just do it. Right? The same is true with all things that we learn, all things that we familiarize ourselves with, whether it's walking or riding a bike or any sort of mental emotion or mindset. And that's really what we focus on with meditation. But it's a good comparison thinking about the physical world because we're very familiar with that, right? We're like, oh yeah, tying our shoes is easy because I've been practicing a lot. But the same is true with your mind. The same is true with mental states. And that's what meditation does. So if you think about relaxation, which is a huge entry point into meditation for good reason, meditation isn't kind of conjuring. Whoa, I just knocked my mic over. Meditation isn't like conjuring relaxation from somewhere. It is teaching you to become familiar with your relaxed self, this version of you that is relaxed. Now, I know you want it to come out more often, right? But it is there, right? You have definitely seen this relaxed self that I'm talking about from time to time. And the way that we can kind of get it to show itself more often is becoming intimately familiar with it. The same as becoming intimately familiar with tying your shoe or riding a bike or anything that we learned. Cool? So in order to kind of benefit from meditation to its full extent, we do have to first learn how to what is called pacifying your mind. So your mind is very busy. I don't know if you've noticed, but your mind is constantly multitasking, right? Think about this, do that, worry about this. And you're like, oh, I don't really want to. I'd like to relax. And then your mind is on a totally different playbook, right? Your mind is super busy. And so we have to kind of declutter all of these thoughts a little bit first to kind of settle in. And then we can use these techniques of meditation to do some. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. So the way we're going to do this is with something called single pointed concentration. Very fancy, but all it means is we're going to focus on one thing, which is easier said than done. If you think about what you're really familiar with, you're probably more familiar with multitasking than you are single tasking. Right? And why? Because we let our mind multitask all day long. And so our mind is very used to it. Right? So sometimes when we start to meditate with single pointed concentration, our mind's like, what the heck are you doing? I don't do this. So we got to train a little bit. Right? So we're going to focus so exclusively on one thing that all other things start to fade a little bit into the background. It is similar if you've ever kind of, I'm sure you've heard of the cliche phrase, being in the zone or flow state or whatever it's called these days. But, maybe you're working on a project at work. What happens? You lose track of time. The noises in the office, they don't bother you as much. It's almost like they're gone, right? They're there, but they've faded a little bit. So we're going to start to practice doing this intentionally. And we're going to use our breathing meditation. You probably have heard of that before. It's a really good entry point into meditation. And for good reason, you always have your breath with you. So if you can become pretty adept at using your breath as a relaxation tool, man, you can use this wherever you are, right? Which is a huge aspect of meditation. Realizing that you have everything you need to be able to relax, to be able to familiarize yourself with kindness and calmness and peacefulness. Okay? So we're going to do a breathing meditation now together. And if you have never meditated before, from a purely instructional standpoint, breathing meditation is pretty straightforward. We're going to choose to focus on our breath, and then we're going to kind of pay attention to whenever our mind starts to take us away from our breath. Maybe your mind is like, hey, think about that thing somebody said earlier today that annoyed you. Or maybe your mind is like, hey, we've got a lot of stuff to do after this class ends. Right? Whenever we catch our mind trying to divert us from our breath, we're just going to say, not right now. We'll get to those thoughts later. And then we're going to guide our attention back to breathing. And that's it. We're going to repeat this process as many times as we need to, right? Focusing on our breath, noticing when our attention drifts, bringing your attention back to breathing. Cool? All right, let's do it. So, get comfy. You do not need to sit on the floor or something. I know that's kind of a thing for meditation, but that is not necessary. You can meditate anywhere in any sort of orientation of your position that you're sitting in. I'm in a chair. Chairs are good. If you do like sitting on the floor, go ahead. If you've had a long day and you'd like to lay down, go ahead and lay down. It doesn't really matter. All that matters is that you're relatively comfortable. And the reason is, if you're not, you're going to be thinking about being uncomfortable, and it's going to be harder for you to really plug in single-pointedly to your breath. All right? So get comfy. Go ahead and close your eyes. And I'm going to guide us through about a 5-minute breathing meditation to just relax us a little bit. Okay. Whenever we start a meditation, first things first, let's just check in with ourselves. Ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? In this exact moment. Happy, sad, tired, energetic, doesn't matter. All that matters is you notice. Practice noticing what your mind is up to. This is called mindfulness. It's a word that gets thrown around a lot. And what mindfulness means is an active awareness of your own thoughts moment to moment for the purpose of being able to respond skillfully to those thoughts. So just check in, see how you're doing right now in this moment. And having done that, you can now turn your full attention to your breath, breathing in and out gently and naturally. You do not need to take big, deep breaths. You do not need to forcefully exhale air. Just breathe as you normally would, in and out. And allow yourself to relax a little bit into your chair or cushion. Single-pointedly focused on each moment of each breath. Following the air for its entire journey. Following it as it enters your nose. And following it as it exits. Smooth, gentle breathing in and out. At some point, you may notice your attention drifting. Maybe you're thinking about something that happened earlier today. Or maybe you're thinking about something coming up later after this class ends. Whenever you notice that this has happened, we can just very gently say, not right now, to those thoughts. We'll get to them later. And then purposefully guide your focus back to breathing in and out. Gently, naturally. Fully present with each moment of each breath. This moment. This moment. This moment. Keep bringing your attention back to your breath whenever you notice it drifting. This process of choosing to focus single-pointedly on your breath, noticing when your attention drifts, and being able to bring your attention back to breathing, that is meditation. You are meditating right now. You are training your mind to focus on what you want to focus on. And right now, that's breathing in and out, gently and naturally. So just for the next couple of moments, continue to breathe in and out and just enjoy sitting here. Enjoy your breath. Okay. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Return to the internet. How'd that go? If you're new, probably one of two things happened. You're probably either like, oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought, or you're like, man, my mind's really all over the place, right? And I've been meditating for like 15 years, formally, and my mind still goes all over the place sometimes, right? This is a slow burn. It is not the type of thing that you're going to do once and be like, hey, I totally get it. I'm totally relaxed all the time now. It's awesome. I mean, that would be awesome, but it is a training, just like anything else that you have learned, right? We're probably pretty familiar with driving right now, but the first time we sat in the driver's seat of a car, we're like, what's going on? There's so many buttons and everything, right? So it's just going to take some time. But the more you do this, the more consistently you meditate, your mind starts to get used to this concept of single-pointed concentration, and almost looks forward to it, which is really what we want, right? Because right now our mind's like, wait, what are you doing? This is a complete waste of time. I got a million things to focus on. So we have to train our mind to kind of want this, right? And that just comes with practice. Cool. Any questions on breathing meditation or meditation in general or anything that we talked about or whatnot? Feel free to ask me. If not, I'm going to move on to our topic for today, which is all about sleeping. Pat, that was great. I do this breathing meditation when I can't fall asleep. Great. So breathing meditation is a fantastic method of helping us sleep, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about that. But some people, their mind wanders a little too much when they're doing breathing meditation. And if you're already kind of all over the place trying to sleep, there's some other meditations that we can do that'll help. Particularly one that it's sometimes called a body scan meditation. Again, you've probably heard of that. I do a little different version of it, but that's what we're going to do later on. But we'll talk a little bit about sleep and how meditation can help with that. Cool. Awesome. So you guys always get restful sleep? I don't. Jerry, not totally a newbie. I do this meditation when I start teaching my art classes. That was great. Awesome. And Jerry, I don't think I've taught this particular class in a while, but maybe I'll do that next week. Meditation is not just reserved for breathing, right? For breathing meditation, you are choosing your breath as the object of your meditation, right? Your focus. Now, we can turn anything into a meditation. And the reason I bring this up is because art is a wonderful kind of meditative activity if we choose for it to be that, right? And you probably know that as an art teacher. You probably feel kind of that like in the zone, you lose track of time, right? All that stuff can translate into the things we're already doing with our day, right? Which is a cool way to expand the amount of time we're practicing meditation. Awesome. Cool. So I have trouble sleeping. You have trouble sleeping. We all have trouble sleeping, probably for different reasons. But I'm sure multiple times in your life you have been laying in bed and I can't go to sleep and I really want to, right? This is another very common entry point into meditation, learning how to use meditation to help us sleep. And the kind of slogan that I'm going to put right out there is a calm mind leads to a calm body, right? A calm mind leads to a calm body, right? So when we're having trouble sleeping, right? Why? What's going on there, right? Maybe our mind is racing, right? We're having some anxiety about something coming up later, right? Tomorrow, something we have to do at work, right? Or maybe we're really stuck on something that happened in the past, right? Mind is in the future or the past, right? So our mind is almost always in the future and the past. And when it is in the future and the past, where is it not? It's not in the present, right? And so it's a lot of times with racing thoughts, it's cool to think about, okay, where's my mind right now? And I can almost guarantee you it'll be in the past or the future, right? So sometimes trouble sleeping is stemming from a uncalm mind, right? But also sometimes it's kind of an uncalm body, right? So maybe restlessness, right? Chronic pain is a huge one. This, even though we're talking about sleep, this particular meditation we're going to do is really good for chronic pain because it's kind of, you kind of treat it the same way. But even with these physical things that are happening with us, whether it's chronic pain or restlessness or whatnot, maybe our knee hurts because we sprained it or something, right? There is a mental component to these annoyances, afflictions, pain, right? There's mental pain in addition to the physical pain, right? And the mental pain is like, when will this go away? Why can't I sleep? I have so much to do tomorrow. I'm not going to be rested. I have a presentation. Like our mind is in agony thinking about all of the things that kind of catastrophizing, all the things that are going to happen from us not getting sleep, right? So whether you are having difficulty sleeping due to a physical ailment or kind of racing thoughts or whatnot, there is a mental component there, which is why meditation is really great at getting to the root of some of our sleep troubles. Right? Now, we're very used to distracting ourselves, right? We just kind of talked about this a little bit. We're almost always doing a lot of things, right? But when we're trying to sleep, what are we trying to do? One thing, right? We're trying to sleep. Now, just like we had some, maybe had some trouble doing breathing meditation because our mind is not really accustomed to focusing on one thing, our mind, when we try to sleep sometimes, is like, no, I got stuff to do, right? So again, this is a product of familiarity. Our mind can very quickly become familiar with restlessness, right? And so we have to kind of use some of these techniques to train our mind to look forward to single-pointedly focusing on sleeping or breathing or whatever you want to do, right? So there's a really interesting kind of connection between breathing meditation, sleeping, right? It's all about getting your mind single-pointedly into the present moment, right? And focusing on one thing. Cool? So, the meditation that I want to do, and usually I do a little bit more discussion on the topic, but this is a bit of a longer meditation. And so I like to allow for some more time for it, is I guess the most common way it's described is a body scan meditation. Maybe you've heard of that, maybe you haven't, but the kind of methodology of this is we're going to kind of go through our body and relax each component of it, right? We're kind of building layers of relaxation throughout our body, right? So what's happening here is we're kind of hitting our restlessness from two different angles. We're focusing on the physical, our body, right? But also we're focusing on the mental component of that, right? So what we're going to do, and I'm going to guide us through this. You don't need to do much other than just kind of relax and participate, follow along. but we're going to focus single pointedly on different parts of our body, right? So we'll start with the face region, right? And we're going to focus single pointedly on, let's say, our kind of the area by our eyes for a little bit, right? And we're just going to kind of plug in to that, right? And if our mind starts to drift, we'll bring it back, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to focus single pointedly on our eye region, and then we're going to give our eyes permission to relax, right? And also, and this is the kind of all the way I prefer to teach a body scan meditation, is we're also going to throw in some gratitude, right? Because a lot of times our restlessness leads to us getting really frustrated and angry at our body, or our mind, but we're getting angry at ourselves, right? And our body and mind goes through a lot each and every moment of each and every day so that we can enjoy our life and do amazing things. And so when we're doing the body scan meditation, I think it's really important to also include some gratitude to all the different body parts and contributors that make our life possible, right? Okay, cool. So, and then once we're done with our eyes, we'll go to different things. You just follow along with me. But this is, if somebody asks you, hey, what did you do on Wednesday? You could be like, I did a body scan meditation. Okay. So what we're going to do is start this similar to what we just did. And the reason is breathing meditation is just really good for settling in. So we're going to do very quick breathing meditation, and then we're going to transition into this body scan. And again, you just kind of follow along with what I'm saying. Now, if you are using this to help sleep, you'll probably be laying down, which is totally fine. So I don't know, maybe it's late by you and you'd like to go to sleep. Go ahead, go lay down. But you can do this sitting up. You can do this sitting on the floor or whatever. It doesn't really matter. Same as kind of the last set of instructions. You just sit however you like. Okay? Cool. All right, so you can go ahead and close your eyes once again. I'm going to guide us through a little bit of a breathing meditation and then body scan meditation to help us learn how to relax our mind and body to promote restful sleep. Okay. So let's once again just check in very quickly. Just take note of how you're feeling. Maybe you are tired. Maybe you're not. Maybe your mind's racing. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. Just noticing. And having checked in, you can now turn your attention once again to your breath. Breathing in and out, gently and naturally. And following each breath. Following the journey of each breath. Feel, visualize the air entering your nose and exiting. Single pointedly focused on breathing in and out, gently and naturally. And if your attention drifts, no big deal. You can just gently say, not right now, to those thoughts. We'll get to them later. And then guide your attention back to breathing. You are in control of your thoughts. You can choose what you want to focus on. And right now, that's breathing in and out, gently and naturally. So, having done a little bit of breathing meditation, we're setting ourselves up to relax. And maybe we're feeling a little bit more relaxed, even just slightly. That's great. We can use that newly relaxed mind state to engage in a wonderful meditation called a body scan. So you just follow along with what I'm saying and enjoy it. I'd like you to bring your attention to the area around your eyes. Single-pointedly focus on your eyes, eye sockets, your brow. What does this area of your body feel like right now? Is there tension? Twitching? Fatigue? Your eyes are such a wonderful blessing in your life. They allow you to see beautiful colors, your loved ones, experience the world. We can thank our eyes for all that they do for us and give them permission to relax. We can imagine the area by our eyes fading away. Well, now bring your attention to your nose. What does this part of your body feel like? Your nose is vital for experiencing some of the joys of this world, being outside, smelling flowers, beautiful aromas. We can thank our nose for all that it does for us each and every day, and we can give it permission to relax. We can imagine our nose fading away into light. And what about your mouth, your lips, your jaw? Bring your undivided attention to that area of your body. What does your mouth feel like right now? Our lips, our mouth, tongue, jaw, they allow us to communicate with other living beings. What a wonderful contribution to our life that our mouth has made. We can thank our mouth for all that it has done for us today and every day, and give it permission to relax. We can imagine our mouth, jaw, lips fading away into light. Now I'd like you to bring your attention to your shoulders. How do your shoulders feel right now? Are they tense? Relaxed? So much tension held in our shoulders every day. Let's give our shoulders permission to relax. Imagine your shoulders fading away into light. What about your arms? How do your arms feel? Your forearms, your hands? Our arms, our hands, they give us the ability to engage with the world in a tactile way, crafting things, making beautiful art. We can thank our arms, our hands for all that they do for us each and every day, and give them permission to relax. Imagine your arms, your forearms, your hands fading away into light. And bring your attention to your chest, your torso. Such an incredibly important part of our body, protecting our vital organs and our stomach, housing organs that nourish us to allow us to thrive, exist, and experience wonderful things each and every day. Let's give our chest, our torso, permission to relax. Imagine that area of your body fading away into light. And finally, turn your attention to your legs, your thighs, your knees, your shins, ankles, feet, toes. Think of all that each of these parts of your body go through. All of the weight that they support, the impact of walking, running. Our legs, knees, feet. They have gone through so much for us and continue to do so each and every day. We can thank this part of our body. And we can imagine it fading away into light. With our entire body now faded away into light. We are left with one remaining thing: your mind. Just as your body goes through much hardship every day for you, so does your mind, keeping track of every thought, experiencing emotions. We can thank our mind for all of the wonderful things it does for us. And we can give our mind permission to relax. We can imagine our mind fading away into light. And then we can just relax. Okay, when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Oh, I got sleepy. And I was talking. Little longer than generally we do, the kind of general meditations that we do here. And again, like, it's a common misconception that you have to meditate for hours. It's not. That does not translate into like good meditations or something like that. Consistency is the most important, but body scan meditations take a little time because we have a lot of parts of our body and I skipped a bunch and grouped some together, right? But when you're doing this on your own, you can get as granular as you want, right? And it's kind of interesting to think about all the different aspects of your body and what they do for you each and every day. And the gratitude aspect of this, I think personally, my opinion, is very important, because it changes your perspective on your body and mind, right? When we're having trouble sleeping, we are annoyed. We're pissed off at our body because it hurts. We're pissed off at our mind because it's racing with thoughts, right? But this is what our body and mind do, right? And those actions are the reason that we get to experience this world in a really awesome way, right? So we are acknowledging that and then giving those parts of our body permission to relax. They deserve it. They earned it, right? Cool. So this is an interesting kind of systematic meditation where we're using each part of our body as an object of our meditation. So as I mentioned before, you can use your breath as the object of meditation. You can use your eyes or your nose or whatever. It doesn't matter, right? And so this is a cool way of kind of going through that. And it's really good for sleep. It's really good for chronic pain. Chronic pain is particularly the gratitude aspect is amazing, because with chronic pain, we are really annoyed at a specific aspect of our body, but that aspect has done so much for us, continues to do that, right? So mixing in the gratitude thing, I think, is really important. This is something you can do even if you're not trying to sleep. Some people just really like this meditation. It's a little more task oriented, right? I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this. Maybe that's you. You like having a to-do list or something, right? So experiment with it and see how it goes, right? But in terms of sleeping, it's amazing. I use it a lot. I have a lot of sleep issues, and so give it a try. You can rewatch this video and follow me doing it. There's a lot of body scan meditations out there for you, or you can just do it yourself, which I encourage you to try, right? Cool. Any questions on body scan meditation, sleep meditation, the relationship between those? I know it's a lot of information. Patricia, very relaxing. Can't wait to try tonight and when I try to sleep. Yeah. Oh, you're going to get double dose. That's great. It's nice. And it's a really, I think it's a really nice way to end your day, right? You can even kind of focus on how these parts of your body contributed to your day today, right? If you want to just focus on today instead of like sprawling. Mary, glad to be here finally. Hey, Keith, and hey, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And thanks again for being understanding about last week when I had my internet issues. So that's where I'm going to stop for today. If you had a good time, I'm glad. And come on back. Every Wednesday, I host live stream meditations, barring some, event or whatever. Sue, I'm glad you enjoyed that. I'm glad. So come on back next week we'll do the kind of turning activities into meditations thing that like Jerry sparked that in me, right? So maybe we'll do that. So come on back for that. And if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel and you feel comfortable doing so, that'd be awesome for me. Hugely beneficial for me and beneficial for you too. You get notifications when I'm going live with the meditation. All my old live streams are available to you. You can kind of peruse them. Maybe you want to look at anxiety. Maybe you want to look at chronic pain specifically. Check out some of my older stuff, right? Cool. And then finally, if you're really into this, you think it's something you want to pursue maybe a little more formally, I teach one-on-one meditation classes. That's kind of the core of my business, meditation business. And if that's interesting to you, I highly encourage you to do it. It's a really great format. We can focus on things that are particular to your life. Maybe you don't have trouble sleeping. That's awesome. Maybe you're here for anxiety or something like that. We can focus on that specifically. I do them over Zoom, right? It's very laid back. I'm a very laid back person. We'll have some fun and meditate and learn together. All right. So if that sounds interesting to you, you can email me and we'll find a time that works. So I'm going to put my email in the chat right now. You can email me any questions that you have about meditation. Doesn't have to be specifically about a one-on-one class or something like that. All right. My email is keith@meditationbreaks.com. I'm typing it now. Nice. My streak of no spelling errors with it continues. Incredible. That's my email. Email me anything that you want. If you want to do one-on-one, email me. We'll figure out a good time. And thank you guys for being here. I love teaching, and I couldn't do it without you taking time out of your very busy day to be here with me and learn something new. And I hope you are feeling nice and relaxed and you're going to go to sleep. All right. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next week.